Hello Internet, and welcome to my review for Fairy Tail episode 285. When we last left off, we got a lot of Zareth backstory. We learned that 400 years ago he was a student at the Mildion Cathedral Academy or something, and he tried to fuck around with life and death in an attempt to bring back his brother and our hero, Natsu. There's the big reveal. And as a result, he was cursed by the god Anksaram to kill whenever he values life. And this will be very important going forward, so keep that in the back of your mind. Meanwhile, Natsu, Wendy, and Lucy separate from the rest of the gang. Gray, Urza, Juvia, Gajil, and Levy all have other stuff to do with the council and with whatever Urza, Gray, and Juvia have to do. They all head towards Magnolia Town, where the guild is all back together, and they set about recreating the guild, and it's great, and it's just like old times, which is really what the first half of this episode tries to show us. Beginning with, of course, the classic Natsu hanging out in Lucy's house without telling her. You know, it's cliche, or I don't know if cliche is the right word, but it's a recurrent gag in Fairy Tail. It's been a running gag from the very beginning. But it's also a really short, simple way of emphasizing that, like, yeah, the gang is back. Fairy Tail is here. They're together. They're a unit. They're having a moment of peace before they go take on Alvarez, which we'll get into in a little bit. So yeah, after that, Natsu tells Lucy about a job that's just building the guild hall again. And this treats us to several minutes of the gang hanging out, which is always great to see, because I said a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago at this point, because this video is supposed to happen a week ago, but whatever, don't worry about it. Where was I? Yeah. I don't know. Oh, right, yes. Lost train of thought. The cast is hanging out for several minutes, which is fine, because as I mentioned a few weeks ago, this is kind of the best cast in Shonen. There is not a cast I love more than the cast of Fairy Tail. But kind of makes, like, there's a bit about, you know, an overdramatic, rumor about Gray's love life with Juvia over the past year. Natsu and Elfman get into a fight. And kind of comments how the guild is, like, different than before. But this whole scene really shows us is that no, it really isn't. You know, the guild is still their lovely selves, and I love it. We do see, however, how Elfman was really, really beating himself up over his actions during the Tartaros arc when, what's-her-face, Possession Girl, starts with an S, I think. You know who I mean. Kyoka's girlfriend. Possessed him to blow up the guild hall. I really like that, you know, we get to see the after effects of that on Elfman. And I also love that, like, no one in the guild blames him for it. They're all aware he was possessed by, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I don't know what it is. What her name is. Yeah. But anyway, after Urza comes to stop the fight, Urza, like, breaks up the fight, and Levy's like, oh yeah, there's our Sayla! Sayla's her name! There we go, her name is Sayla. I'm so stupid. Anyway, where was I? After Urza breaks up the fight, between, all the guild members get involved in the fight, and Urza shows up, breaks it all up, and Levy's like, aha, there's our new guild master. Because Makarov is still MIA after the last season. And just like that, we have our 7th Guildmaster, Urza. So yeah, I mean, who else would be the Guildmaster with Guildarts and Makarov gone? It's pretty much just Urza. I mean, maybe Loxus, but Loxus is still missing. And then with that, Mest shows up, and it's time for the plot. We have a quick commercial break, yada yada yada. And Mest takes Urza downstairs to show her the Lumen Histoire that everyone found out about during Tartaros, but then Mest wiped out all the memories of it. And then, after the rest of Team Natsu sneaks in, and Mest finds them, we then get Mest's backstory that I don't think was fully played out in Tartaros. But you know what? Even if it was, Mest's backstory is so wonderfully absurd, you can't help but love it. You know, he was originally Mest Grider, who then went undercover for the council, calling himself Dorenbolt, wiped his own memory, and would only have it be restored when he met with Makarov like once a month. And while with his memory wiped, proposed a new plan to infiltrate Fairy Tail under the name Mest Grider, while inserting memories that he had always been a member to Makarov. I love Mest's backstory. It's so convoluted. It's so contrived. But like, while when normally a backstory is convoluted or contrived, it's stupid. Mest's backstory is so willfully stupid that I love it to death. It's hilarious. Yeah. And that's kind of all the hilarity we're gonna get for a while, because we're moving into the drama here as we find out about the mysterious Alvarez Empire, who invaded Ishgar around 10 years ago, which is 10 years ago, of course. I always forget this. People mention like 10 years ago at this part of the series. That's only like 2 years before the series started, which is kind of weird that no one mentioned them before, because Natsu would have been like 15 when that happened, and I don't know. It's moments like these where it's very clear that Mashima did not have this plan going in, that the Alvarez Empire is something that came later. But you know what? I'm gonna deal with it. So yeah, we have our new villains that Makarov's very scared of. The mysterious Alvarez Empire, who's mysteriously after Lumen Histoire, which you will recall is the crystallized body of Mavis, and is totally unrelated to anyone we've ever met before. Our final arc villains are completely unknown. Who could ever guess who's behind all this? And like, I might get flamed for spoilers, but I'm not gonna confirm anything. And honestly, anime onlys, it should not take a rocket scientist to figure out who's behind all this. It's been telegraphed going in, especially for the anime. This is the final arc of the series, and there aren't that many people who can be behind things in the final arc of the series. So you should know what's going on here. But if not, you'll probably find out next week or the week after, or tomorrow or next week. Who knows? I'm so fucking far behind. After that, we have the gang all decides what they need to do next. Urza mentions to everyone, to Natsu's frustration, that like as the guildmaster, it's her responsibility to put the livelihood of the guild's members over her personal feelings towards Makarov. However, as a member of Fairy Tail, she has to protect Makarov. And I love that kind of like, I really love like when someone has like conflicting worldviews within themselves. And I like Urza's Urza's way of getting around her problems. It's just us who are gonna go. We're gonna infiltrate, pick up Makarov, and get the hell out of there. However, it won't be just them, because Gajil overheard all this, and is getting the old B team back together after he finds Loxus. And that's where we end this episode. So yeah, this episode was great. It was kind of simple, even with all the exposition about Alvarez. I'm not going to go into too much here, because it's a lot of info dumping. But it excelled in both showing us the guild being themselves, and in building up the hype for the Alvarez Empire. And I've said many a time before, whatever Mashima's problems are with ending a story, he is phenomenal at character relationships and building up the hype for a story. And this episode delivers that in spades. You know, Alvarez, we're completely outmatched by Alvarez, and like, that sense of we're totally fucked kind of permeates a lot of the story, and it works really well. And next time, the infiltration begins. So, tomorrow, we're gonna see, our first encounter with Alvarez members, And yeah, before we go out, it is technically the beginning of December. It's only 1:33 a.m. 1:34 a.m. now. Um, and because it is December, we are a month out from the winter anime season, which means the new straw poll is up in the description down below. Pick out all the shows you want me to see me cover for the winter season. Already, we're going to keep doing Fairy Tail. We're going to keep doing Boruto. Keep doing Sword Art on. Well, Sword Art Online will eventually come to the channel. Like probably not today's episode or tomorrow's episode, but probably the episode after that. We will have Sword Art on the channel. I promise it's coming, and that'll be a staple next season. Beyond that, sky's the limit. Vote for whatever you want in the comments down below, or not the comments, in the straw poll in the description down below. And yeah, I'm going to leave this video up off here. Hope you all enjoyed the episode and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like, or subscribe, or do whatever the fuck you want. I don't really care. And as always, people, keep kicking ass, and I'll see you in the future. Bye!